Hi Celia, I'm making this video to um, help you learn how to play First Day of My Life on the ukulele. I'm looking forward to seeing you all at Jensen and Amanda's wedding, and we can definitely practice some more when we're there all together in person. Um, but this way we'll have sort of a head start and we can do some practicing on our own too. So I would make sure that you have the chords um, printed off or opened up on a computer or something so you can um, see where to put your fingers with those diagrams and everything. But I'll be sure to show you how to do it in this video too. So you have two examples of how to do it. So um, we'll just start at the beginning. You can see that there's this F, A, D minor pattern that is repeated a lot. So we'll start there, and when you learn that combination of three chords, you get to use it basically for the rest of the song. So that's a good place to start. So for F, we take our pointer finger here, and I'll be counting the strings from top to bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll take our pointer finger and put it on the 1, 2, 3, third string on the first fret, that very first one. And then we'll take our middle finger and put it on the very first top string on the second fret. So first fret, second fret. And when we strum down with those pressed down, that's our F chord. I'm sure you've probably played that before, but we'll start from the beginning. And then the A chord, it's really nice and simple for us. All we have to do is move this pointer finger from the 1, 2, 3, third string. We're just moving it up one spot to this second string, but it stays on the first fret. So F, and then A, and all we have to do is move that first finger back and forth. So those are the first two chords. And then number 3 is actually really close to those as well. So that's the D minor chord. We are going to leave our middle finger on this top string on that second fret. That's going to stay exactly where it is. Then we'll take the ring finger and put it on the second string, 1, 2, also on the second fret. So it should be cozy, just like neighbors right up next to this middle finger. Those two are right next to each other. And the pointer finger, we're just going to put that back to where it was for the F chord, which is on the 1, 2, 3, third string on the first fret, which is exactly where it was for the F chord. So that's the D minor chord. And if we put it all together, you can sort of watch my fingers. They don't really have to move that much, which is nice and easy for us. So F, A, D minor, that's what those sound like all together. And then the next chord, this one's a little bit more involved because we have to use or I guess we only use 3 fingers, depending on how you play it. Now in the intro, it says B flat. That's what the little b means. It means flat, or the lowercase b. And then it has this add 9. Now, whichever one is easier for you to play, you can do the regular B flat, which they have the little diagram for, or the B flat add 9. Because they're so close together, it'll sound good either way, whichever one you want to play. So feel free to choose which one you want to use, and you can use that for the whole song. Whenever you see B flat or B flat add 9, you can use the one that you decide that is easier for you to put your fingers into that shape. So if we're going to do regular B flat, we take our first finger here and we are going to press down actually 2 strings at the same time. You want to make sure that your thumb is on the back of the ukulele's this neck here, so that you can have enough pressure to hold it down. And you're going to squeeze those down on the top or the bottom 2 strings on the first fret. Both of those should be pressed down, and you should be able to hear the notes. If you don't press hard enough, it might sound like this. All you got to do is squeeze a little bit tighter, and it's okay if it's not perfect at first. So with those 2 staying down, we take the middle finger and we put it on the second string, 2nd fret, right there. And then we take our ring finger, put it on the top string, the 1st string there on the 3rd fret. And so when we have all of those down at the same time, it sounds like this. Now, that's the first way to do a B flat chord. And then the other way with that add 9, the only difference is we can lift up our pointer finger here, so we don't need to be covering 2 strings. We're just going to have it on, we'll leave it on the 3rd string here. The other 2 fingers are in the same place, like nice in a row, 1, 2, 3. And then we take the pinky and put it on the 3rd fret, same as this finger here, the ring finger. And we put it on the top or the bottom string here on the same 3rd fret. So what that sounds like is, and then I guess our last option for the B flat chord, if either of those are hurting your hand or not very comfortable, we can just do these 3 fingers, put it on the 3rd string, 2nd string, 1st string, and just leave this bottom string wide open. So if we put it all together, I'll show you how it sounds with the different variations. So we can go F, A, D minor, and then we go to B flat, regular B flat with the double string cover. So F, A, D minor, regular B flat, or B flat with the add 9, that's the one we use our pinky finger for. Or the simple version with no pinky and no double string pressing, I guess you could say, with your pointer finger, with neither of those, the simple way. So that's what it would sound like with those different variations. And again, we'll all be playing together, so whichever one is most comfortable for you and easier for you to do is fine. I hope this isn't taking too long. And then chord number 5 in the verse and the intro is C. That one's really easy. I've used my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret on this bottom string to do that C chord. And then after you play the C chord, you go back to the F, which is where we started. So to put it all together, I'll slow it down and I'll say the chords so you can get the timing. So it's F, A, D minor, that's what the little M means, And we do the D minor chord twice instead of just one time. That's why you play it a little bit longer. So and again, B flat, C, F, and all 5 of those in a row. You can just sort of practice putting those together as many times as you want to or need to, and I think it sounds pretty cool. And that's sort of the pattern that we'll be playing the most. That's how all the verses start, and that's what the intro is and everything. So just a couple more times. So we can call that like part number 1, because that's the number 1 that we're going to use the most often. And part number 2 is pretty similar. The first half is, at least, but there's a couple different changes. So you can see, if we're looking at verse number 1, we just learned how to play the first half of it. F, A, D minor, B flat, C, F. And part number 2 starts the same way. So F, A, D minor. And remember, we do D minor 2 times. And then this time we introduce a new chord. It's G7. And again, there will be diagrams at the top to show you how to do it, and it'll label, which fingers you're using too. I should have did that. The middle one is finger number 2. Pointer finger is finger number 1, 2, and 3, just like you would count. And that's what the numbers on the little diagrams mean. So if it says 1, that's your pointer finger, 2 is the middle finger, and 3 is the ring finger. So G7, we'll start on this 1, 2, 3, the 3rd string. We put our pointer finger on the very first fret. Take our 2nd finger on the 1, 2, 2nd string. Put it on the 2nd fret. And then same with the 3rd finger. We also put it on the 2nd fret, but it's on the bottom string. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're all next to each other in sort of like a little triangle shape. That's the G7 chord. And then we go back to C. And then C7 is just a variation on C. That's what the 7 means. All we got to do is put the first finger on the 4th string, the bottom string here, on the 1st fret. And you can have it down while you're playing the regular C, so that you're ready to switch in between. So see, this is regular C, and then C7, we just lift this up. C, C7. So if we put that together, this is part 2, or the second pattern. We start the same way as part 1. F, A, D minor, G7, C, C7, and then we go back to the top. So we do part 1 after that. And so the verses, it's just that part 1 and part 2. That's all we have to know for all the verses. Let's see. Then, let's see. Now we're on to the bridge. And it's pretty similar to part one. We just sort of swap a couple things around. So instead of F, A, D minor, for the bridge we go F, C, D minor, and then just like part one in the verse, there's B flat, C, and then again we do F, C, D minor, and then instead of G7 like in the verse, it's G minor, and so that's pretty similar to G7, just a little adjustment with our fingers. So for G minor, sorry, I'm just looking it up. So for G minor, we take our first finger and we put it on the very bottom string on this first fret. We take our second finger, put it on the second string, 1, 2, on the second fret. And then we take our third finger, this ring finger, on the third string, on the third fret. And so that's what G minor is. You can tell it's minor because it kind of sounds sad, you know. And then, okay. And then, this last part of the bridge looks like it's kind of complicated, but we can just play basically the same chords that we usually do. So after G minor, we can do F. Instead of A, S, U, S, 4, which looks really scary, we can just do regular A. Regular D minor. And then instead of G, M, A, D, D, 9, we can just do regular G, M, that we just learned, G minor. That's what the M is for. And then B flat minor. What that sounds like is this. But instead of doing, because you have to press down 3 strings with 1 finger for B flat minor, instead of doing that, because that can kind of hurt your fingers, you can feel free to do the regular B flat, or the one with just 3 fingers, or the one with your pinky, whichever one is easiest. Okay, and that's the bridge. And then you'll see it just repeats like that. So after verse 1 and 2, there's the first bridge. Then there's verse 3 and 4. Those are the same as the first verses. And then the last bridge is the last difference that will be, or the only other thing different. So we sort of do a half of the bridge the first time, where it says, but I'd rather be working for a paycheck than waiting to win the lottery. We can do F, A, regular A, D minor. And then the second time, we do it 2 times in a row. So F, A, D minor, G minor, B flat, and again, you can choose any of the B flat shapes that we talked about, whichever is easiest. And then you just do it one more time. F, A, D minor, G minor, B flat, any of those B flats, and then one more F. And that's it. I know that was a lot of information, and this video ended up being way longer than I intended it to be, but I hope that helped. and feel free to text or call or email or whatever me or Michaela, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have, or record another video if you need any clarification. And again, we can always practice more in person when we see each other in Arizona. Anyways, I look forward to seeing you all, and I hope that this helped. Bye.